Hey friend, and welcome back to another episode of Organizing with Ease. I am so glad you're here today. If you're new to the show, welcome to this cozy corner of the internet where I talk about simplifying your home, your routines, and your life one gentle, doable step at a time. And if you've been following me along in this January Momentum series, oh my goodness, today is going to be a big one because you know what? We're going to be talking about something almost everyone struggles with quietly. And that is what? Protecting your time, guarding your energy, and saying no without guilt. Whether you're a mom, a business owner, a caregiver, a leader, or a mix of all these roles, this episode is going to make you feel like someone finally turned on that light switch. So grab your coffee, of course, whatever else you're drinking, sit with me for a bit and let's talk about those boundaries, calendars, capacity, and reclaiming your time in 2026. So here's the truth about time and why you're just so tired, right? I don't know about you. So let's talk about the truth that we don't talk about enough of, and that is a cluttered calendar leads to a cluttered home. And it's not because you're doing something wrong. Please do not think that at all. But just know that when your calendar is jammed, your brain is overloaded with like your bandwidth, it's just gone. And the last thing your nervous system can handle is maintaining order in your space. So think about last week when everything was stacked, okay? School events, work deadlines, surprise appointments, a birthday party you forgot was happening, 3 emails for that one quick thing. I don't know, that one quick thing never really is that quick. So, what happened at home that week? Ready? Laundry piled up. The dishwasher stayed full. The mail stuck on the counter. Your bedroom became a drop zone. The pantry looked like a grocery store had exploded. Why is this? Because you're disorganized? Absolutely not. It's because you had no margin. Harvard research calls this quote unquote time poverty, and it affects nearly half of the women weekly. Men, you probably the other half, okay? And here's the thing when you feel time poor, your brain moves into survival mode. You lose decision making capacity. Your patience shortens. I can totally attest for that one. Your routines fall apart. Your emotional bandwidth shrinks. Your home feels like your brain is going through what? Yes. And that is why boundaries matter. Not because you need to be stricter, but because you need to protect your capacity. And that no, quote unquote, that changed everything for me. Remember, no is a complete sentence. So let me tell you about something, what happened to me personally that shifted everything in my own boundary journal. So a while back, someone reached out to me to help coordinate the school thing. Not a huge thing, not an emergency, just one of those quote unquote quick tasks that we all know is really never actually that quick. So that week was already overloaded for me. I had my appointments, I had a family thing, I had client work projects and deadlines. But of course, right? My energy was thin. My brain was so tired and my calendar was just completely full. But the old reflex kicked in, that people pleasing helper fixer reflex, that one. So I did you hear me? Almost said yes automatically. But that's because that's what I was used to doing. Saying yes, squeeze it in, push it through, deal with that exhaustion later. But I have to say, something actually stopped me. I actually paused. I took a breath, and out of my mouth came a sentence I had never said before. Thank you so much for thinking about me. What a lovely idea and great way to get involved. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do it right now. And you know what happened? They said, no worries at all. And that was it. No worries at all. So that was it. No guilt trip, no judgment, no silence, no coldness, just acceptance. Meanwhile, on my end, I felt like my whole nervous system just exhaled. Like, what? Like someone just took a weight off of my chest. And that word no, quote unquote, protected my bandwidth for the entire week. And it taught me something huge. Every yes is an investment, and every no is a protection. So, why do boundaries matter more than ever? So, let's break it down why they do. Because boundaries are the foundation of a calmer year. There are three kind of boundaries everyone needs to look into and actually not look into, but actually needs in 2026, okay? It's the time boundaries, it's access boundaries, and it's emotional boundaries. And we're going to go deep into each one of those. But first, let's just talk about like why they matter so much, okay? So, time boundaries protect your energy. This is a big one, right? Your time isn't just hours on the clock, it's your mental bandwidth, your decision making power, your emotional stability. Because remember that we, unfortunately, and we do make over 35,000 decisions a day. No wonder you're exhausted. I'm exhausted just telling you about that we make, not have to, but we actually do make 35 decisions a day. So when you're overscheduled, you just don't lose time, you lose clarity, patience, creativity, and being calm. So here's an example that I want to share with you. You could be the one that books activities Monday through Thursday for the kids, plus work meetings, errands, and a spontaneous request from, someone to meet with you. By the time Friday hits, you're not just tired, you're fried. And so is the house because it reflects. Remember, everything feels messy because you feel messy. Access boundaries protect your peace. Not everyone gets unlimited access to you. Not every text needs an immediate response. Not every phone call needs to be answered. Not every person needs and deserves constant emotional labor. Try, put your phone on do not disturb after 8 p.m. You still love your people, but you also love to sleep and silence and not being emotional available all the time. Emotional boundaries protect your well being. This might be the hardest boundary, but it's one that's going to save you from burnout. Emotional boundaries say, I care about you, but I'm not responsible for your reaction to my decisions. So here's an example for that one. Someone is disappointed you can't volunteer, right? That I just talked about. But they allowed you to feel disappointed. You're allowed to maintain your boundary. You can care without caring. The three boundaries everyone needs. Ready? Time boundaries. Let's just go deeper with real life examples. So how about this? You decide that Sundays are your day. It's your day for the week. It's your family day, and it's the day that you do your meal prep, your calendar, resetting the home. This is where it's your downtime. You do your self care. But when someone invites you to, let's say, that Sunday brunch, you just say, I'd love to see you, but Sundays is kind of like my day and my family day. But you know what? I'm open on Saturday if that works for you. So, see how that preserves your boundary and your relationship? Here's another example. Your energy dips every after 3 p.m. So, why not try stop booking those late appointments? But what happens if you still work till like 5, 6, or 7? Hopefully not that late, but let's say that you do. Try to do a little bit of an assessment. Get in that 3 p.m., cafecito espresso time because that always helps with me keep going. What about if you can limit those weeknight kids' activities instead of like, 5 or 6? Could you possibly maybe scale it down to maybe like 2 or 3? So these are boundaries that save your sanity and your calendar. Access boundaries. These are game changers. For example, stop replying instantly. You let a text wait until you have the emotional bandwidth to actually reply back. Yes. Why don't you put your phone in another room while you're making dinner? That's an option, right? You're not just ignoring anyone, you're actually being present with your family. So if someone texts you outside of work hours, you reply the next morning saying, Hey, got your message. I'll take a look at it today. It's clear, it's kind, and it's respectful to the both of you. And yes, I do have boundaries myself for my work, and it actually has saved me and my clients. Of course, if there's a 911 of some area of some things, I will, of course, reply, but my boundaries have been set and it makes me feel really good. Um, Emotional boundaries. This is the one that gets people every single time. So, how about this? A family member pushes back on your choice. You don't argue, you simply say, I hear you, but this is my decision and that works best for me and for my family. Or a friend is in a really bad mood and tries to pull this on. Instead of absorbing it, you think, this isn't really mine to carry. These emotional boundaries aren't walls, they are filters. So, how to say no? No is a complete sentence. It has taken me a very long time to actually be able to say no and actually for people to accept when I do say no, right? So let's talk about those actual words, right? Because saying no is not the hard part. It's actually the guilt and the over explaining that just basically trips us up, right? So here are just a few scripts. I actually did write these down for you, so that I can practice and you can practice as well. It's that gentle no. Thank you for thinking of me. I can't take this right now, like I mentioned before. Let's say that somebody's asking you to run something, but you're already overloaded. Just use the gentle no. The boundary, no. I don't have the capacity for this at this moment. Or thank you so much. This is so lovely, but unfortunately, I'm not able to. A coworker wants help with something last minute. You can't, and that's okay. That's the conditional yes. I can't help, but only after Tuesday. Or I can do that, but only for 30 minutes. So there you're giving already boundaries and you're giving expectations and your limitations of how you can help. Here you can do the redirect. I can't, but you might want to check with so and so. That would be great for us. These keep your boundaries kind, firm, and guilt free. And remember, no does not require a TED talk for explanations. Okay, just sharing that with you. It actually does not. Now, the energy filter. This is the tool that's transformational. Before saying yes, ask yourself, does this give me energy? Or is it going to cost me energy? Your body tells the truth before your brain does. And when I say it took me a while to figure that out, it took me a while to figure out because here's one. You ready? Someone invites you to dinner you totally genuinely love. You feel lighter, you smile, and what do you say? You say, but of course, let's schedule it. Let's put it on the calendar. Someone asks you to lead a committee. Ugh, your stomach drops, your shoulders tense up. And I'm like, no, I think I'm going to have to pass on this one. Or maybe I could be a co. I could work as a co person. That always works as well because it lightens and lessens the responsibilities as a leader if you have a co. A friend of mine or a friend of yours asks help and you get excited because you love supporting them. And that is an absolute yes. But again, give boundaries of expectations of when you can work with them and how long you'll be able to do that with. A new responsibility would totally impress others, but you feel dreaded that's a sign. You follow your energy, not the obligation. So, why releasing commitments boost motivation? A University of Chicago study found that releasing commitments boosts motivation by 35%. And why? Because when you stop forcing yourself into overcommitment, three things happen. You ready? You breathe, yes. You rest, yes. You reclaim your time, absolutely. So, you drop a weekly committee meeting that you dreaded. Wow, Sundays, suddenly, all of a sudden, Thursdays feels a little bit more spacious. You've got some room. But of course, before you drop anything, before you actually let go of something in regards to a commitment for work related, you definitely want to revisit that, okay? But let's say you're letting go of hosting something out of obligation. Suddenly, your weekends feel what? A little bit more restful again because hosting is a true obligation, even if it's like a quick barbecue. What about you cancel a reoccurring appointment that no longer fits you? Suddenly, your calendar opens up. Letting go is not quitting, it's choosing alignment over depletion. Again, letting go is not quitting, it's choosing alignment over depletion. It's the tiny changes that creates hours of release. So let's talk about what tiny means. Tiny is very powerful. You batch errands in one day instead of three, saves you 2 to 3 hours per week. That's what I do. You decide you don't schedule an appointment after 3 p.m. because why? You can get really tired, right? But your afternoons feel a little bit calmer. You choose 3 dinner preps each week, not 7. 3 is enough. Then you can still kind of do your meal prepping easy by doing the vegetable cuttings. You do your washing of your fresh fruit. That actually helps you still prep for your meals. You say no to that extra one thing a week. You regain emotional breathing room. How about you create a closing ritual for your day? That nightly routine. Game changer. You wipe down those counters in the kitchen. You reset that living room. You prep tomorrow's outfits. Absolutely. Because you know why? These tiny adjustments add hours back into your week. And that, my friend, is the best part, is where you regain extra hours. So here's a little bit of a recap. A cluttered calendar creates a cluttered life. Boundaries protect your time, energy, and peace. The three boundaries for everyone that everyone needs actually is, you ready? Time, for sure, check mark. Access, for sure, check mark. Emotional, for sure, check mark. You learned simple scripts for saying no. You learned how to use that energy filter. Releasing commitment boosts motivation. Tiny changes relief and create huge relief. The biggest takeaway: you deserve a calendar that supports you, not one that drains you. Here is a gentle challenge for the week. Just choose one boundary to strengthen. Just one. That's it. It might be to put your phone on do not disturb after 8 p.m. It could be no scheduling on Sundays. Make it like a free Sunday. Say no to only just maybe one request and not responding instantly to those text messages or those WhatsApps. Dropping a draining obligation. Just one boundary can shift your entire week. Try it out because I want to celebrate your progress with you. Thank you for spending time with me today. I'll see you next week for episode 194, The Monthly Reset: How to Stay on Track Without Burning Out. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, my friend. Until then.